Hello and welcome back to Badger's Adventures. No videos for quite a while because some traumatic time at home with lost a family member, so I just haven't managed to make any videos. So there is a footpath actually which goes through here. I'm going out to do a wild camp, a hammock wild camp. Got a new hammock to show you, which is an amazing bit of kit, and I've got a new toy which is an amazing bit of kit, which I'll show you. But so this area here is kind of a restricted area. I'm not going to say any more than that. However, I've done the research and it's not being used for that at the moment, and it does have a public right of way, public footpath which goes right through. It actually goes directly across, diagonally across this field, but I'm not going to walk across his crops. The people who manage the wood, when they come and they do their management stuff, they put the signs up saying please to keep away from the vehicles, etc. But you're more than welcome to explore this wood. So I do. It's pretty big. It's got a lot of wildlife in it. Hardly anyone ever goes in it. And tonight, I mean, there are two sorts of wild camping that I do. I do heavy wild camping where I take everything for comfort. In the evening I take you know, some cast iron cooking gear and all that sort of stuff, or I do lightweight where it's more about the exploring, and so I just take a lightweight, maybe a 33 litre backpack with a very lightweight hammock or a bivvy or something. But right now it's a heavy setup, so I'm not going to be walking too far. Yeah, let's wait and see. So yeah, speak to you in a minute. Okay, well, here is this hammock. Now, you can't get these hammocks very easily in the UK. Like all really good hammocks, they generally come from the States. I think Hennessy Hammocks, I think they may be a UK company, but I'm probably completely wrong. I think most of them pretty much are all American. I've got three proper, this is my third proper camping hammock. The other three that I've got are, it's basically an E&O knockoff, which I probably showed on another video, which is the T&H Outdoors double hammock, which is a bit like an E&O double nest. I've then got the Cocoon, which is a very lightweight 20 denier hammock with very small straps and a bug mesh. And then I've got a Hummingbird. And I don't know what material that is, but that is really lightweight. No bug mesh, I'll just put a ridge line on it and that's it. So they're my sort of lightweight other ones. And then I've got my three camping ones, which are the Hennessy Hammock, which is the Explorer XL Zip Asymmetric, which is brilliant because it's got the tarp built in, so if you just want to set up a hammock real quick, then that's great. But you've got to fit the underquilt. I've then got the Warbonnet Blackbird XLC, which is just a Mercedes of hammocks. It's an amazing bit of kit, really big and luxurious, 11-foot jobby, and it's got the shelves and all the bits, and it's got the winter cover, and I've got a Wookiee, 0 degree Fahrenheit Wookiee to go with it, which is just a gorgeous bit of kit. But again, you've got to fit that under quilt. So this new hammock is a little bit different, not very traditional, but it is a Superior Gear hammock. So it is basically a I've slept in it once, one night. It is a single hammock. It's an 11-foot version, but it's got a bug mesh over the top, but it has a built-in underquilt. Now, underquilts are a tricky thing. They're probably the hardest. I think they're the hardest thing to get right. Once you've got your hammock hang right and you've got your feet at that little, you know, everything is at the right sort of height, and you understand how to pitch. So you get your sweet spot so that your butt and your weight is just in that right place. Once you've done that, which doesn't take too long, getting the underquilt is a real crucial part of any hammocking. And you need that underquilt to stop any air, particularly in windy conditions. And I've had some, you know, little cock-ups where I've spent half the night freezing cold because of one little mistake with the underquilt. And I've got a number of underquilts for different seasons, and I like that fact that I've got that flexibility to just to change the underquilts around. But this is simple because it's all built in, as you'll see, and no wind's getting in there. This one is a 15°F, so about -9°C. That, I think, is the right temperature for me, so I'm not too bulky, but it's warm enough to cover pretty much anything I do. And if I want to go colder, which I probably don't in the southern UK, then I could just put another underquilt underneath it without any problem. But I don't want it so warm underneath that it's uncomfortable in the summer. Although I don't really think I'm necessarily going to use this in the summer. I will use one of my other ones with a summer underquilt. But I just want to try it out. I've slept in it one night. I found it a little bit restricting on the shoulders. Not too much, no ridge, no calf ridge or whatever. Is it ridge calf ridge? None of that. Really simple to go up, lovely and warm, just gorgeous. No messing around with the underquilt. When you get out and back in at night to go to the toilet or something, there's no issues there. You don't have to reset the underquilt. It's just really simple. It goes up real quick. Anyway, I'll set it up and then I'll show you. Okay, what it does have is got a little pocket on the outside. What a great idea, where you stick your straps. So I didn't actually order any straps, but because there was a bit of a delay in getting this out to me, it was about £100 import duty, so yeah, it is quite an expensive bit of gear. But they sent me their straps, which are their little buckle system, which looks pretty cool. A little bit like Dutch wear, except it's just the Dutch wear buckle system, but just a little bit bigger. Yeah, I've tried it once. Really simple, very clever. Well, it's not clever. It's an old system, but yeah, it's done very nicely. So yeah, right, I'll set this up. So there it is. Yeah, as you can see, you get a bug net. The outside is always that colour. I thought they did a camo version, but they don't. You get camo inside. You can change the colour inside, but the colour outside I think is pretty much set. So like I say, that is for the UK, that's just a 15°F, so about -9°C. That should be good down to. I sleep with my left side. This is going to be my head end. I sleep with my left shoulder, with my shoulder up onto the left shoulder up here. So what you can do is just brush some of the down and get that up that end, so you've got that little bit extra warmth. Like you see, you get the bug net built in. You can take the bug net off. You can turn this into a cocoon, so you've got these little you can use the zips to basically, when the bug mesh gone, you can zip this up like a cocoon if you really want to. You've got these clips as well just to help with that. You can put an under blanket, an underquilt protector in there as well if you want. Like I say, it's just my second night, so yeah. So inside it's got You can see that I've just gone for the camo inside. Like I say, I found it a little bit narrow in the shoulders compared to my other two hammocks, which are very spacious in terms of shoulder. Yeah, these are pretty good. And the ridgeline itself is a whoopee sling, so you can adjust it. There you go. There's my whoopee sling end. Now normally you set a whoopee sling at 83% of the length of your hammock, but as a default to start with. But I think when they sell these, they sell them a little bit differently. I don't know if they do it longer or shorter, but anyway, the one night I did was really comfortable. I slept very flat. Yeah, these are the buckles that you get. I was having a little bit of a drama with the buckles. Let's put that back there. So if you want to adjust and pull up, yeah, you just pull. Great, and then you just flip that end back down just to lock it. Had a little bit of a drama just now where this was rigged incorrectly, so I don't know how I didn't have a problem the first night I used it, but anyway, so it's now rigged properly. So yeah, just onto a continuous loop. I always put a little bit of something on the head end so I know where my head is going to be. Right, let's zip this up for now because there's quite a lot of bugs around. Yeah, right, I'll show you the organizer. So there we go, there's the organizer. So this is the bag that it comes in, and you've obviously got a pull cord on this end just to tighten it up. And you got these little loops. I've just stuck these on. Well, these come with it actually, and I just put a prusset there, just so that, because my tail at my feet end normally is a little bit higher, I don't want it sliding down. So if I can get it and it just catches with the prusset, then stops it pulling down towards me, then great. But that's clever, real clever idea. So like I say, this is Superior Gear hammocks. There was a bit of a wait. I know they were having some problems with COVID, etc. So it was a little bit of a wait. Shipping, yeah, it was about 100 and something pounds import tax. The whole thing, I think, altogether with the import tax is probably in the region of £450. So yeah, it's quite an expense to chuck at a hammock. But they're my hobby, you know. I love going out and sleeping in hammocks. There you go. There you go. I don't buy flash cars or flash clothes or anything like that. So there we go. Right. So I was going to put a tarp up as well. I brought a tarp along because every time I've gone out, I just haven't really needed to put a tarp up, so I just haven't. And I like playing around with the tarp and so on. So I brought it along. I don't think I'm going to bother. I might just get a bit of wood sorted out, sit down and have a beer. And then I'll probably show you my other little toy, and I'll probably show you how I'm going to sort my fire out. In fact, I won't do the fire yet because it's a little bit early. If someone turns up, they're going to start questioning what I'm doing. So I'll get a bit of firewood. I'll locate that somewhere a little bit away from from here in case someone comes here. But at the moment, it just looks like I'm just going to sleep the night in the woods. I won't get in too much trouble. When you light a fire on someone's property, yeah. So it's going to be a really small fire, and I'll show you that in a minute. That's what we're going for tonight. 6.2%. It's going to blow my head off a little bit. But Northern Monk is my new favourite. So I'm just going to have a bimble round. I think it's always a really good idea to have a really good look round. I mean, I'm quite familiar with this area. I know the track there. I'm bloody sure it's not right there, but I'm going to go and check anyway. And that track there, if you really looked, I think someone might see me. But I think I'm pretty clear. You know, the hammock is angled the right way so that the place that people could see me, you know, is pretty much in line with the hammock. So then it's not anything that's going to really stand out. That food there hanging in the dry bag might be a giveaway, but more of a giveaway is me crunching through all of this. But it's been a beautiful day, and I've been getting really stressed recently. The death in the family I found really difficult, and I was quite involved in all the funeral, and now I'm having to deal with solicitors and all that sort of thing, and you know, it was gut wrenching. I just told my wife, I said, I've just got to start getting out and doing a bit more wild camping. I used to be out wild camping every week or every other week at least, and that's dropped off recently because of everything that's going on. So this is the one thing that just calms me down and makes me better, and I do love it. Right, see what this is like. Whew. Yep, that's 6.2%, I would say. Oh, that's good. That's really good. There's no one around here, and there's nothing to concern me around here. It is so quiet. There's one robin who's flying around over there quite a lot, and that's about it. And the deer that I saw earlier, and we'll find out what happened else tonight. And I will show you the Gucci little toy that I've got, because I'm always inquisitive about what it is that's around me at night, and I'd just love to know. It doesn't scare me anymore or anything like that, but I would just love to record it and capture it. And if I could capture those wild boar on video, that would absolutely make my, not year, month, it made my month. But why is it so quiet here? Well, I'll let you know why. And it's because this place is a military firing range. Well, actually this isn't, but it's used by the military, it's leased by the military. There is a firing range over there, which is for assault rifle style type weapons, and I'm in the military and I've fired from here a number of times. So that's SA-80 is what they normally fire from here. I think there's also a private club which uses it at the weekends. You can find the times online, so there is a public pathway which goes through here, and if there are red flags flying, then you simply don't come in. You can look online and find out the firing times, but the red flag is basically the leading particular, and basically the red flag will go up. If the red flag goes up, there's going to be firing within an hour. But I've looked online tonight. They're not allowed to fire at night, so it's day only. It's nothing bigger than SA-80. There's no M3Ms or half-inch weapons or anything like that. So that's why no one comes in here. And there is a public right-of-way through it, which people use. And like I say, there's that sign when they were doing the forestry work, or that forestry work that was over there, where they said, look, just enjoy the wood, etc. So people do walk their dogs around here, but it's very local, which is fantastic, because most woods, let's face it now, you go into them and they're full of people, because people can't go abroad, or they weren't going abroad, and people have got in the habit of just exploring their local area, which is exactly what they should be doing. Okay, the bit of kit that I've got is because I want to see what's around me at night, and I love watching nature at night, being quiet while wild camping. And I've got this. So this is a thermal imager, and it's a thermal imager that you can fit on a scope. So I'm into air rifles and crossbows and things like that. Not for shooting animals, just for shooting accuracy and a little bit of fun. I take my son to the local range and we do that. So it could go onto there if I needed it to, but it's a very close. It's a short range one. It's not the long range stuff that you can see online of people shooting hogs and coyotes and things like that. Although there are videos of them using these. This is, what's the name of the thing? It's called it's a Hick Micro Thunder. That's it. This is the bottom of the range one, really. It's a 256 pixel thing, 256 sensor, 19mm sensor, which is, you just don't get the same sort of definition, so it's for closer in stuff. So you could shoot rabbits with this, for example, and you can either fit it onto the rails on a scope, or you can actually get an adapter and fit it onto the front of your day scope, and it will turn your day scope into a night scope. It's brilliant. It was rather expensive. If my wife finds out I've got it, I'm dead. Not as much as if she finds out about the bikes, but there we go. Managed to keep that on quiet. Yeah, so, and it is really good, and the reason I went for this, the bottom of the range one, is because I don't need the top of the range one. I just want to see what's in the woods and because it's the woods, you don't have to look very far, and so it's absolutely fine. And this will pick out deer and everything. I can see the detail of them. You can record with this. I can take stills. I can, with a single press, I can take a still, or I can do video recording. So I'm going to use it tonight, and I'll show you what it looks like. And if I find anything, then you'll see it as well. The bugs are getting me now. This is my special weapon. Okay, so that's what we're going to cook on. That's where the fire's going. However, I need to get it off the ground, so I'm going to use these. Hello. Yeah, so this is my gone boy, which has lost the tip of his nose. So these are the most dangerous thing. If you're going to come wild camping into the woods on your own, always let someone know where you are. But the reality is that if you cut yourself badly with one of these, you're going to start bleeding. So always make sure you're taking one of these. I have a fairly decent first aid kit in that bag, so I can deal with it myself. And if I ever take an axe, I take my much bigger first aid kit. These things are really dangerous, so just be careful with them. I like taking these obviously for the smaller wood. I'm not going to process it and split it because that's a lot of banging, makes a lot of noise, so I'm going to avoid that. So I just use this. Avoid snapping and breaking twigs because everyone can hear you, so only the small stuff is what I break. Anything even sort of that big, this thing is out to do it. Haven't got the big boy out this time, don't need it. I'm just doing a little fire, so there we go. Lots of flies, getting quite crappy here with all the flies, but there we go. Right, get a bit of a base. I think that will hold quite nicely, and that way I keep the ash and everything else off the ground. It'll be a small fire. I've kept all of this at the right size to fit in there, and then I can put my grate over the top and cook later on. Yeah, when I go wild camping now, what I've tended to do is just take a dry bag with all the stuff that I think I'm going to need for cooking. Everything in here, not food, just everything else. Food has got its own dry bag just to keep flies and stuff off it, but it's just so much easier than rummaging around in a big rucksack without any compartments or anything like that. So I just keep it near me. You know, I've got a glove, I've got some oil, I've got I've got bashed out breakfast for the morning. Admittedly, it's in there. Here's my fire lighting gear, so fire lighting kit and my little tinder box. Where's my tinder box? There we go. And my little tinder box. We'll get this going and get rid of some of these flies. There aren't hundreds of them, but there are quite a few. I'm quite surprised at how many there are. That time of year. The best time that I find to light a fire, if you're going to have to do this, is 15 minutes after sunset, because the difference between sunset and complete darkness, certainly where I live, is about 30 minutes. So about 15 minutes after sunset I light it. That means that there's a little bit of period where I've got enough light to see what I'm doing safely, and very quickly it's dark, no one can see the smoke, which is what you get at the start of the fire. You generally get a lot of smoke at the start. The trouble with this time of year is that the sun going down really late. I want my food. I know pretty comfortable there's going to be no one over there. I'm more worried about what's over there. So I'll think about where the wind is coming from. If anything, the wind is coming from that direction and it's going to blow it down that way. There's no trail down there for quite a long way. Importantly, it's not going to blow it that way. And it's not just the smoke, it's the smell as well. very light wind, but I think it's going to blow that way, which is good for the hammock as well. It's not going to blow, and it's not going to blow it into me. So I think we'll be okay. We'll see. I'm going to keep the fire down as much as I can. Right, another little tip while I'm enjoying my beverage is before you go to bed, keep things as tidy and ready to rock and roll as quickly as you can, as best you can. So that's why I keep all that stuff in a bag, and I work out of that bag. Out of the cooking, my lighters, all that stuff goes in that bag. Food in another bag, rubbish in another bag, and my main rucksack, and then everything else is the hammock. Now I can get that hammock, as long as I've got those bags, I can get this hammock and whatever's in it, including the sleeping bag and everything else, unclipped from those straps. If I have to leave the straps, I'll leave them. I can get it unclipped and everything into that rucksack within a minute. And then the other bags, which are 2 bags and some rubbish, I can just grab and move. And it just allows you to get out of Dodge quickly if you need to. Right, another little tip of mine is if you're coming wild camping and hammocking, certainly, I always keep everything that has a bag, so everything comes out of something. So here I've got my jungle bag, and in there any other bag that I open, like my Gucci little table, which I've got here, which I've been using for a couple of years now. The bag that comes in, everything goes into there, just so that I know where everything is. So in the morning when I get up, I know that the bag for this and that and everything else is in that place, because there's nothing worse than hunting for where's the bag for this. And occasionally I've got home and I never leave anything behind, it's always somewhere, but it's just a pain in the hoop. There's a lot of flies around. Anyway, that's one tip. Another little tip is always have a rubbish bag. Always have a rubbish bag. But as you can see, the rubbish bag that I've got at the moment is a white one, and it stands out like a real sore thumb. I can see this bag really easily, whereas this hammock setup and myself and everything else, you know, if I was right over there, no, I couldn't see myself. But if I had that bag hanging up in a tree, which I've done before, it's really obvious. So if you're going to get a rubbish bag, I always tend to hang the bag up so that if there's stuff in there, you know, that I've been cooking with the night before, and any deer or anything comes around, he can't get to it anyway. It's just nice and high. But because it's white, I can't do that with this one, because it's just going to be an absolute giveaway to anyone that's wandering around here, particularly with a torch at night. That thing will shine right up. Yeah, which I think has given me away before once. But yeah, so get a green rubbish bag if you can. I normally get the recyclable ones, but unfortunately for the last couple of months I've had this one. I'm not going to throw it away, but when it's a bit more knackered, then I'll use it for something else. But, right, yeah, flies everywhere. They're bloody horrible. They're not hassling me, they're just there. So I think I want to light up. So I was going to bring out my flint and steel tonight, but I completely forgot to do it. I've only just got it. I am probably terrible at it, but there we go. So it's a bit of cheating tonight. I'll use a fuel block later on. It's not really solid enough. Leave that there for now. A couple of these. So I just use cotton wool with a little bit of Vaseline thrown in there. That can go on the top. And I'm just going to light that up. There we go. Chuck that in. Chuck that in. This thing's rocking and rolling too much, not happy with that. Let's chuck that over there a little bit. Do it up a little bit. I always find it's good to get it going, get it hot as quickly as you can. Get as much hot stuff down on the base as you can, and then you've got far more chance of the bigger stuff picking up. I'm still very mumuch amateur at these fires. Flint and steel, I've yet to really test that out. I've watched it, it looks pretty simple. we'll have to see about that. There we go. Yeah, that'll do for now. And I don't, all tonight, all I want to do is get that as a hot coal base so I can cook on it. Yeah, flies in this area are gone. Over there, there's still a few left, but I think they'll thin out pretty quick. The obligatory lighting a fire shot. Done. My only issue with it is it's a bit unstable, given that I put it on those logs, which I wouldn't burn, they're really skank logs, but it's on a bit of a slope and it's quite slidey around, so it might be a bit of an issue, I don't know, but as long as I'm careful with it, I think it'll be fine. But it's still quite a few flies. Probably can't see them, but there's still quite a few flies just floating around the place. So my only danger here in terms of being seen is that way, no issues. There is a path which goes down there, which I showed you earlier, but it kind of peters out, and I don't really think it goes anywhere. I think it used to. Well, I suppose it must go somewhere because people have been walking down it. So, yeah. But there is a path which goes along there, which I think is more likely the sort of path that people would use to walk their dogs. And in the in the open field that I had to walk through, there's sort of a clearing down there. And there's a ladder you can climb up to I don't know if it's some sort of fire ladder, I don't know, but yeah, there are clearly people who've been walking through there on a rare routine basis, or it's deer, I don't know, but it gets used. But it's 7:20 now, and I think people, although it's a gorgeous evening, and why aren't people outside? And hopefully they're not inside watching the bloody TV or watching YouTube like you are probably now, and I do normally. But I think we're probably pretty bomb proof. But I think if they look in here, the fire wasn't on, there's no way they're going to see me. It looks really dark in here, although it's not at all. It feels lovely, but I think they would see the fire. Yeah, they would see the fire, and I can see where they would be walking past, and they would see the fire. So this isn't great. But this is the risk you take in the summer. In the winter, I wouldn't be bothered because no one's going to be walking there in the winter. And if they were, I'd be seeing the light, and I would sort of mask the fire myself with my own body. I'd move myself in front of it. Okay, let's have a quick chat about this hammock. Now, I'm thinking, I've slept in this for one night so far, but I'm thinking if you get the temperature right, this is ideal. Now, what hammockers love is the fact that they can use any hammock and they can put the right underquilt in there for the right temperature. And they have some flexibility there. And I do love that about hammocking. And I do have a number of underquilts which I use, and I use all of those different ones, different temperatures and different circumstances, if it's raining or if it's dry and I want something lightweight. But if you get the temperature right, this thing's perfect. So for me, this thing is a 15 degree Fahrenheit underquilt, which means -9 degrees centigrade. Now the reality is that the coldest I've ever slept out is about -10. A few times at about -7 degrees, but most of the time it doesn't really go down to, I get down to -5, and I don't really go much below that in the southern UK. If you're in Scotland, maybe a little bit different. The hottest I get in the summer, in the summer at night, maybe +15 degrees centigrade, maybe +20, but I don't think so. Maybe as an extreme, but +15 is reasonable. So if I said for this thing here, just to be on the safe side, -5 degrees centigrade up to +15 degrees centigrade, that is 80%, 90% of the hammocking that I do is in that range. And I know this thing will go down to -5, it should do, it's rated down to -9. And I know I've slept in it at, you know, the warmest it probably was maybe plus 11. I'm very sure it's going to get up to plus 15. So really, for the UK, this 15 degree Fahrenheit underquilt covers everything. I will be warm and comfortable in the summer with this. And if it's really cold, then I'll just stick another underquilt underneath. You know, if it goes down to minus 10, I'll think, you know what, I'll just add my summer underquilt to this. So this really is one of the best ideas for a hammock I can think of. And in the UK, we have a lot of wind, and wind is the thing that is a killer with an underquilt. You get wind in there and you've had it. And wind is what makes life hard when you've got an underquilt to try and manage it. But with this thing, you've got no worries with that. Now, I've got the same with my Wookie, because my Wookie, if you look up a Wookie, it's got the insulation, and then it's got material that comes up around the side to help stop wind getting in there. So the Wookie is great in the winter, and and I've got nothing against that. But if I take the Blackbird XLC, it's that big, and then I add on my Wookie, which is that big. This is half the volume, and probably half the weight, and it gets me, a lot of the UK weather. And I know from having this just for one night, it was very obvious I didn't have to fiddle around. There's no fiddling. You just climb in and go and sleep, and it's fantastic. So I'm a massive fan of this. I think it's almost certainly going to be my go-to hammock after one night, and I haven't even slept in it the second night. So we'll see tonight, but there's not much else really that I can compare it to. Now let's compare it to the Hennessy. The Hennessy is brilliant in the rain because you put the thing up. It is so good with that built-in tarp. It's brilliant. I'm a massive fan of the Hennessy hammock. Up, done, so simple. Tarp is there, and then I just put my summer underquilt under when I'm under there, clear of the rain. The Blackbird is absolute luxury in the winter, and I wanted some comfort, and I was willing to take a bit of weight. Then I'd take that Blackbird. But I've got to now say that 75% of my hammocking is going to be in this little puppy. One night is brilliant, and let's see what happens tonight. Bit of oil. We'll get these in. Lost some men, but hopefully that will thin down. Oh, this is not going well. Mr. Fox is going to be happy. Nah. Man down, man down. There we go. Now we're cooking. Beautiful. Okay, good morning. It is 6 o'clock. I'm up and about early because I forgot to bring my eye mask. And in the summer, if you're going to go out wild camping, an eye mask and possibly some earplugs, but certainly an eye mask is brilliant. And I don't know why I didn't bring. I thought I brought it out with me. I can't find it. But they are brilliant, and they just allow you to sleep through much better. But there you go. I forgot that. The hammock was fantastic, which you'd expect. It certainly didn't get cold. Now you might think, well, it's the summer, it's June time. How the hell are you going to get cold? But even in June, if you have any sort of breeze, and the temperature is below plus 20 degrees centigrade, then you're going to feel cold underneath at night. And even if you've got an underquilt, if you haven't fitted it properly, then you're going to get cold. With this thing, I don't even have to think about it. It's just there. So yeah, lovely and warm sleep. There is definitely a difference between this hammock and my other hammocks in that it is tighter around the shoulders. I am able to get asymmetric and get a nice flat lay, and I slept comfortably, and it was comfortable, but it is noticeably a bit tighter around the shoulders than the other ones. But yeah, I've really got no problem with that. It was absolutely fine to sleep with last night. So there we go. Yeah, so I've been up. I've had my morning glory. I'm just cooking up to have my little porridge, and then I will tidy up a little bit. The fire I need to sort out, because while I had that tray, actually a lot of it's got around and off the edges, and there's ash on the ground. There was some burning on the ground, so I need to have a little rethink about that. I might see if I can get some little legs welded on. I don't know. I'll have to have a little think about that. So there we go. Right, I just need to pack this lot up and get going after I've had my breakfast. I've noticed these little holes. Whenever I sort of clear a bit of ground, I find a little hole just like this. No idea. Okay, that's me complete. My nice little night out. Lovely little spot. So quiet. There's just no one around. And last night, it's just no one around. I've just parked up here. Normally, you maybe get another car will be here, someone walking the dog, but I didn't see or hear anything. I think someone was walking a dog somewhere around this area last night, but yeah, but nothing else going on. I just love that wood. It's really big. There's loads of nature out there. So that's 3 deer. I saw one on the way back out, quite a big one. So I've seen two small ones, and yeah, and just that big one this morning, and the squirrel on the thermal imager. Yeah, so the hammock overall, I think it's an absolute winner in terms of camping hammock. And yeah, the only negative I can find is that does feel a little bit narrower around the shoulders, but it wasn't uncomfortable. You know, I slept absolutely fine. I can get asymmetric still without any problem, but it is just noticeably a bit more around the shoulders. So if you're a broad guy, you may have or girl, you may have some issues with it, but I don't think you will actually. It's just great, and having that ability, that underquilt, I think is fantastic with the range temperature that I've got. I think I've gone for just the right one at 15 Fahrenheit underquilt that covers me all the way down to the cold weather. And last night I wasn't too hot. Outside air temperature, you know, when I first got in was about 11 degrees centigrade. Felt absolutely fine. And if it can get up to 20 and I can sleep well at 20 degrees centigrade, then it will be fantastic. Is there a need for it? Probably not. You know, my other hammocks are absolutely fine, but on a windy day or a windy night, that's when I think this thing will come into its own, because it just won't let any air in. And even though you set up your underquilt, you know, sometimes you get it a little bit wrong, or you get out to go to the toilet and it's dropped down one side and you don't notice, and you wake up half an hour later thinking, oh, I'm cold. You know, this will just get around that problem. So I think it's genius. Yeah, straps great, everything great, top quality. Yeah, I love it. I absolutely love it. I'm just now worried about the other hammocks and what I'm going to do with them. I think the Hennessy hammock's got its place because it's got the tarp there. If there's a chance of having some rain, then I'll take that out with my summer underquilt. You know, in the summer, brilliant. And in the winter, I'll take out my my war bonnet, just because it's absolute luxury. There's loads of space in that thing. It's beautiful to sleep in. That with the Wookiee is comparable easily in terms of comfort and warmth to this one I was trying out today. Right, okay, I'm going to go home and have a bacon butty, I think, and a nice cup of coffee, and I'll see you later.